Hello everybody, this is my CZW Tournament of Death 2007, or their 6th annual tournament, review. That's again what I had to say. Let's start off just by talking about CZW. CZW is known for its ultraviolent death matches and things of that nature, but I think, and that's why I'm reviewing this. Though I will be doing reviews of DVDs where you actually saw really good wrestling, like you'd see in ROH. Now, CZW does do those types of matches, like you would see, just not in as much depth. They don't go for as long, but very psychology based and high paced and stiff types of matches. Very good matches, by the way. It's just they have a reputation for only doing the garbage wrestling. But there's no depth to it, so that's why I'm going to review this. Talk about the and CZW sort of is in shambles at the moment, and it's really demonstrated by this DVD, because two of the guys who were supposed to show up didn't, so they had to put in I think it was Scotty Vortex, who was the junior heavyweight champion there, and Zandig, who had been retired for 2 years up until this point, and he had to come back to wrestle against Necro Butcher. Anyway, let's start off. I'll start with the non-tournament match. I'll just go in order of the matches. Started off with Blackout versus Team Andrew, which was a very good opener. It was a 2.5-star match, very high-paced, good wrestling, good tag team psychology, so very Ring of Honor styled. Yeah, it was a solid tag team match. Then we had the first match of the tournament, which was Ladders and Light Tubes, which is Danny Havoc versus Scotty Vortex, which was a good death match opener. They didn't just start off hitting each other with light tubes straight away, or using a ladder. They started off doing some wrestling, because they are both junior heavyweights, so they can do high paced type of wrestling, and it was very good. So they get 2.5 stars for that. Next match was the Home Run Derby match. Basically, they just had a whole bunch of things between Insane Lane and Freakshow. Sorry, I didn't say that, but it's basically just a bunch of things to hit each other with. This was alright. They basically just beat the crap out of each other with stuff. There was no real storytelling. And by the way, I'm rating these death matches as death matches. Like, I can't rate them by the same standards as a normal match, because they aren't normal matches. I have to rate them by creativity, storytelling, if it does have psychology, things like that. So just I should have mentioned that earlier, but I didn't. So I'm telling you now, I'm rating these as death matches, not as actual matches. So if you're not a fan of death matches, you'd probably give them like 1 star or something. But there was some pretty crazy bits in the Home Run Derby match, where Freakshow just beats the crap out of Insane Lane with this baseball bat with thumbtacks on it, and it just leaves all these holes all over him, and it's just sickening. Reminds me why I don't really like death matches to begin with. Next we had Man Pondo versus DJ Hyde. This is in a Shattered Dreams match. This was okay. They basically just used like a lot of glass and stuff, and it was really nothing impressive. It's last match versus Insane Lane Freakshow was 2 stars. I don't think I said that, but the Shattered Dreams match between Man Pondo and DJ Hyde is 2.25 stars. Once again, nothing really impressive. Next match was Brain Damage versus Mr. Insanity Toby Klein, and this is where the show picked up, because there was actual storytelling in this match. It had purpose. There was a backstory to it. They actually did things in the ring which told a story. Like Mr. Insanity Toby Klein would, he was the face and Brain Damage was the heel, and Toby Klein brought a manager to counter Brain Damage's one. Of course, it ended up costing him, even though it was saving him from Brain Damage's manager getting involved. And if you see the match, there was storytelling, so I give it 3 stars. But they didn't just go crazy and just do a whole bunch of spots. So that's the type of death match it was, and it was fans bring the weapons. Next match of the tournament was Tables, Light Tubes, and Chairs match between Diehard, Dustin Lee, and Drake Younger. And this match was very good. It started off with all the broken glass on the mat from previous matches. They didn't clean it up, and for a reason, because it played a role in the psychology of this match, which is they started off doing mat wrestling when they and you know, on a mat with broken glass, so it really meant a lot more. But they, you know, did some proper wrestling later on, and there was some good storytelling in this match. There was some really good spots. It was a really good death match. And that instead of just going straight for these big spots, there was actually, you know, someone would go for a spot and he'd, you know, dodge it, and so it had got good suspense and or tension and relief. That's what I meant to say. Storytelling, which was very good, and it was probably the match of the tournament at 3.5 stars. Next was a no-rope barbed wire match versus Necro Butcher versus a mystery opponent, because his opponent was no-show, and it turned out to be Zandig. Necro Butcher came out and challenged Necro Butcher because they were supposed to have a match in 2005, but they didn't, because I think Necro Butcher no-showed, so they did the match now. And this was another match which had good storytelling in it, and it didn't just go straight for the crazy spots. There was, you know, a bit of tension and relief, just not a lot, but the match was just amazing. It was, or not amazing, but it was just so bloody. It was just unbelievable. And, you know, they didn't just start off using weapons. They actually started off, you know, tried to wrestle, and you know, Zandig just had too much power for Necro Butcher, and then Necro Butcher put up his fists to box him, and then so Zandig put his hands up to box, and they, you know, punched the crap out of each other for a while. And it was, you know, there was some crazy spots in it. Like, there was this looked like a metal sort of frame. It was about the size of a door, and it was filled with a net of barbed wire, and Zandig, you know, threw Necro Butcher in that, and there was a lot of crazy spots. I can't go through them all, but it was a very good death match. 3.25. Three-way semi-final eliminations we're up to now, because there's 12 men in the tournament. Weed Whackers death match, which was the first, which had I think it had Danny Havoc, DJ Hyde, and Drake Younger. This was an alright match. It wasn't anything to scream about, but it was a good match for the tournament. And so there was 3 Weed Whacker spots where DJ Hyde was hit by them, and there was, you know, alright storytelling, because, you know, DJ Hyde's a big man, and so they used so Danny Havoc and Drake Younger teamed up against him, so that was pretty good. So 2 3/4. Then there was the Fans Bring the Weapons match, which had Necro Butcher, Insane Lane, and Brain Damage, and this match was had, you know, some storytelling. Everyone, Necro Butcher came in as the favourite to win the tournament, and so Insane Lane and Brain Damage just beat on him for the start of the match, and, you know, I think he got concussed in the match because he was taken out by getting hit with a water bottle, basically, and he just fucking collapsed, and Brain Damage pinned him. And then they had a crazy spot where Brain Damage, as soon as Necro Butcher was pinned, picked up guitar with thumbtacks glued to it, and then just swung it, you know, full pelt into Insane Lane's head. And you can find the spot on here on YouTube, and he's just got these thumbtacks stuck in his head, like it looks like scales on like a lizard or a fish or something in his head and back, because there's not like a spot, you can't see any skin through it. But other than that, after Necro Butcher went out and the fans started chanting bullshit, and after that big spot, Insane Lane was out of it, and you could tell he was like, he knew something was wrong, because the fans were just going, "Whoa, this is fucked up," and they were asking him seriously, "Are you okay?" because they were stuck in his skull. And the match sort of just suffered from it, so it was 2 1/4. Then you had Greg Excellent versus CJ O'Doyle, which was a squash. 1.5, because there was nothing really amazing in it, but nothing really bad. Next was a triple threat match, which was Brian McBride, Hayme versus Andrew Steele. Hayme made a dick of himself by botching 2 times, big time. I think I gave this match 1 3/4. It was ruined by so many botches in it. It really suffered. Then we had the divide and conquer final, which is basically, you know, just a lumberjack match with light tubes around the ring, between Drake Younger and Brain Damage. Drake Younger going into the match, not being able to beat Brain Damage in a match. Brain Damage, you know, beating Drake Younger for the Ultraviolent Underground title. The match was pretty, you know, average, nothing really special. Nothing really bad in the match except for the finish, where you had to go up onto the top of a van and grab the trophy. And what happened? Drake Younger got the trophy, and Brain Damage hit him down, and he fell off it and fell through some light tubes, and the ladder fell over. and then he just crawled into the ring and won, even though he got punched. So yeah,